very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Spectrum, live on Radio 1 FM 90. You can find us on our website, www.radio1fm90.com. We are also live on the different radio listening apps, which you can obtain from the apps of your smartphone. You look for any of those radio listening apps, download, look for Radio 1 FM 90, and as long as you have an internet connection, you should be able to listen to us from anywhere across this world. Well, we want you to be part of this discussion, and we have an SMS number, that is a WhatsApp number, where we want you to actually send us a message. It must be written and not in audio. The number is 0703-090-090. Tell us what you think about the discussion we're having here in studio. It could be a question or comment, and the guests here in studio will react to that particular comment. Today we are looking at the current political climate and the implications as we continue to prepare for the 2026 general elections. Well, we know everywhere across the country we are in an election mode. Nominations have been going on, but there are also other things that are happening that could affect the situation, especially as we near the nominations for members of parliament, presidential candidates, and then the campaigns that will occur. Some of these issues touch on security, while others touch on the freedom of political parties to mobilize and organize. So I have two gentlemen here in studio to share with me, to share with you about what is happening and what they think needs to be done for us to sort of avoid what happened in the past, taking into account those situations that we have seen characterizing our election process. Mr. Jude Mbabali, he's a lawyer and a member of the National Unity Platform Party. He's a former chairman of Masaka District, and I know he's running in one of the constituencies in that particular area. He will tell us during the course of this discussion. Thank you so much for joining us on Spectrum.
Thank you, Mr. Lukwago.
Also in studio, Mr. Obed Katurebe. He's the acting executive director at the Uganda Media Center. Good evening, Obed Katurebe, and it's a pleasure having you on Spectrum.
Good evening, Kenneth Lukwago. Good evening, listeners and viewers across the world.
I want to begin with you, Mr. Jude Mbabali. If you can quickly describe for us the political environment from your perspective as the NUP, and then we'll get to hear from Mr. Obed Katurebe what his response would be.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lukwago. First of all, I'm very happy to be here with Mr. Obed Katurebe. We were together at university, but since then, he disappeared. He has just resurfaced. Happy to meet you, sir.
Happy to meet you, colleague.
Okay. Now, the political environment is very tense in Uganda as we get closer to the general elections. And I think the reason is that maybe the government of Uganda, under the leadership of President Yoweri Museveni, is worried that it may lose this election because the population is seriously organizing against the government.
The population?
Yes, the
entire population?
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
You move across the country, you will see that many people are organizing themselves to ensure that this time President Museveni does not win. And as a result, I think government is now using intimidation. Many of our leaders of National Unity Platform, have been arrested. As we talk now, Nobianeli, who is one of the leaders of National Unity Platform, has been arrested. He was arrested in Nakawa soon after nomination. As we talk now, we don't know where he is.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The police tells us that Nubianli has been escorted to his home to avoid, carrying out a procession.
That may be a new development, but as I entered, I had heard from the president of National Unity Platform, and he said he wasn't aware where Nubianli is. Then two, in Masaka, Honorable Namayanja, the mayor of Masaka City, is also under serious warning from the RCC Masaka. He says Namayanja is going to be arrested. Actually, he has ordered the police to arrest her because he says he tampered with some electoral process somewhere, somehow, when she complained about some illegalities. So that is another bad development. Waiswa Mufumbiro, as we talk now, we don't know where he is. He's the deputy spokesman of NUP. And many other illegal political arrests are going on. Yeah, that's how I can describe the situation as of now. Yes.
How has this been perceived by your political party, and what impact does it bring?
First of all, the party is very strong. It remains strong and intimidated because we know that we are fighting a government that is full of military people, that is dictatorial in nature, a government that came from the bush. When people go to the bush and fight, they tend to get the characteristics of bushmen. Yes, that is true. Most of the governments that have come from the bush. So,
what are the characteristics of bushmen? These are people who have been with here for almost 40 years.
Misbehavior, intimidation, no respect for rule of law, killing, and many other bad characters, you know. You know how bushmen behave. I'm not saying they are bushmen, but they tend to behave the way bushmen behave. And there is overwhelming evidence available. You can see what is being done. After 40 years in power, in the 21st century, how can you start abducting opposition leaders and then you charge them with flimsy charges? And when they apply for bail, you intimidate judges and actually order them not to release the suspects because you fear that they will still oppose you. So that is what is going on. But the party is still very strong, and our leader is championing the struggle, and at the end of the day, I'm sure we shall be victorious.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Obed Katurebe. Mr. Obed Katurebe, you've heard from your friend with whom you were with at university describing the political environment and the impact it's having on the political party. What's your view on the political environment?
I want to agree with my friend, Governor former of Masaka. That the mood is toxic, the mood is scary, the mood is there's nothing really scaring. What is pertaining are typical excitement, typical anxiety that come with elections. I mean, every political season, and in quite many countries, and especially it gets worse when it is these third world countries. People even forget about their duties, and then they go into rallies. Then people argue on the top of their voices. Others even develop deeper disagreements, and they can be nasty. But that's typical of election season. So me, I'm not finding anything so strange that is characterizing these days before we go into the real election time. Even in his political party, NUP. When they released the first results of their mayors and local levels, you saw councillors. You saw those who lost, also raising their voices, talking not so good words to their leaders, others even crossing to another political party. But that is expected. I don't find anything strange so far that should warrant any reason to worry. My colleague here said Museveni is a bushman, he does not believe in rule of law, he does not believe in democratic participation and stuff like that one. I will really leave it to listeners who know what is happening. I don't think if Museveni was that, he would have allowed 54 members of parliament from this young political party which Jude belongs to. I want also to tell
what do you mean allowing? Because
I'm saying
we assume they were elected by the people.
But his characterization is that he does not brood democratic values or democratic participation, but we have, I mean, the whole opposition in parliament combined, they are over 100 and something. I also want to tell listeners that my good friend here stood and won as Masaka LC5 chairman Was it from 2016 to 2021? And one as an opposition candidate. I mean, then how would you say Museveni's credential as a Democrat as very lacking? I don't believe that one is true, and most Ugandans know that that one can't be true. About the arrests. Arrests, there's a problem with most of us, and I'm telling you, this is not, I wouldn't want to target from one party. Even saw it, even in NRM, in places like Zimbabwe and whatever, how it went. And some people were arrested, in Isinjiro, in Mobenda and whatever. We tend to make politics a matter of life and death. And because these elites, the Jude Mbabadis and whatever, going by the investment they have put into such an election, and because they must win, they not score to Salagon, win or they lose, they radicalize their supporters. And most of these supporters of theirs who are not so sophisticated, in the process of radicalization, they go overboard. They go into criminal tendencies. So as a government, you must rein on such people. And because the government must remain, it must provide law and order, it must provide peace for the rest of the country. So those elements of radicalization, people, and then the radicalized group becoming a danger to society, certainly those ones will be reined on. If it was to go by that one, I know this colleague of mine, I know him as a young Democrat activist in Makere. UID. And he's been like that. And he's been very vocal and active. How come he has never been arrested? He's a free man. My thinking is his politics are civil and he goes by the standard rule book. Not to degenerate into levels that can threaten others, that can threaten the life of all Ugandans. That's why he's a free man. And he was telling me how he's going back to stand. He's going back to stand because he knows the Electoral Commission will give him his results according to the way he has earned it, and nothing will be shortchanged. Otherwise, he wouldn't be wasting his time and money. He would still remain in his law firm, practicing law. But he's going into this one because he knows the ground will be leveled and everything will be done. If he has it, he'll take it.
All right. I'm sure, Mr. Obed Katrebe, you've been able to hear from the securities, or you interact with some of this information that comes in. Now, these people of NUP who are being arrested, are you aware of what exactly could be going on? You have said some of them have engaged in criminality. It's a debatable issue because the NUP people are saying that you are simply trying to derail their plans ahead of the elections.
No, I wouldn't want to say for record, I know, for example, why one Mufumbero was arrested. But I think, the beauty of it is that police has said they have him, meaning he's safe, and he will be produced to court. Then we shall know what exactly the crimes he committed. But let me hasten to add, just since his arrest, I've just been seeing some certain things on social media, and in my unknown, the way he's been conducting his politics, I have no reason not to believe that these things that are being posted are not his. He's another version of full figure. He's really foul mouse. He's a foul mouse politician. There is one I saw, and I'll share it with you, maybe when in the break, when he was attacking General Narwaiso, calling her a Jezebel. Some of you know the story of Jezebel in the Bible. Terrible. I mean, you cannot call a person of Narwaiso's age, foremost, experience, service to government, a grandmom, and you insult her to that magnitude. That is indiscipline. It's indiscipline. It is incitement. It debases our moral fiber as a society. So, to some extent, I'm not saying that's why he was arrested, but I mean his statements were really dangerous. And it's not only General Waiso. Remember what he talked about, the late Segelinya? Those words, you pass them, you treat them as just words. But they were words, countries go to war, go to civil unrest because of statements of political actors. So Then these young men who had been radicalized, given military mentality, given those drills and whatever, whoever really took those young men into that was really not their friend. As security, well, they will not take that one lightly. To security men, what you call light, to them it's a bigger thing. That's how Hitler began with his red shirts. Before they realized they had the overthrow a government. The government could not control them. So what you call slow, I mean a small thing. For them, they have their standard practice of weighing something that can be dangerous to society, and they rain on that one.
All right. What you call drilling is the NUP foot soldiers, supporters, who assembled at the NUP headquarters, made a parade, and they were, inspected by their leader. How does that threaten security?
I'm not a security person, but I have a small feeling of how security works. When
Please.
I saw that pass out, I was like, what is this one trying to inspire in these young people who are not so sophisticated? He's trying to psych them to feel they are now like typical soldiers who must create combat if need be. It's about psyching up.
How different is that from Mchaka that so many people have been exposed to thanks to the NRM government?
No, apart from I went for one.
People have learned how to use the gun and everything.
No, I went for one. I can tell you 99% of what they do is ideological. About Uganda, patriotic causes, economic causes and stuff like that. So it is larger than that. I think that morning run is just to make you fit as for that season, not to be just lazy bones, to take away your laziness and whatever impurities you have swallowed when you are still what, so that you are fit for the time. But Kenneth, I also know you in your heart of hearts, when you saw that passing out, you knew someone you are inviting security to begin looking beyond into that simple exercise we saw. All
right, let's go to Mr. Mbabali and see how he responds to this. Mr. Mbabali, you've had one of the reasons why your people are being arrested is because of what they call drilling, which is a military maneuver, which was carried out at the NUP headquarters. Not acceptable according to the Penal Code Act. 35, if I'm correct. 38 or 35.
Thank you very much. One, you've heard my colleague saying once these security people weigh and see that probably the intention of these people is to overthrow government, then they arrest. The law does not operate like that. The law operates in such a way that a professional person, probably a police officer, and not a military person, must first look at the law and compare the facts. And the law, does the law say? In our law, there is no law that says once you organize a parade and you talk about politics, when you are dressed in a uniform that is not a military uniform, then you have committed an offense. There is no such a law in our statute books. I have looked at the charge sheet that was used to charge Eddie Mutwe in Kawempe. They talk of Eddie Mutwe and the group having behaved like a military people. And they quote a section, and they quote a section in the Penal Code Act. But you see how they are stretching this. It's because they want to intimidate these younger men so that they abandon their activism. But they committed no offense. So you will agree with me. You know, as a person who did mass communication, you have some bit of the law in your head. You know, you studied some law, some criminal law. So what the government is doing is bad. They are carrying out illegal arrests. And even if it is true these people committed an offense, why do you abduct them? The law is very clear on how somebody is supposed to be arrested. When you go to arrest, introduce yourself, pull out a card and say, your identity card, and say, I'm so and so, a serving police officer, I'm arresting you because you committed such and such an offense. Then you take that person to a police station. But these ones first abduct, then you take to a chamber, you think a basement, they torture, and after torturing you for 7 days, they now dump you, either in a prison or in a police station, and later on you are charged with these flimsy charges. That is not proper, and my colleague, you shouldn't encourage it. It's very bad. 2, he talks of excitement. He says these guys are excited by the election that is getting closer and closer. This is not about excitement. This is about people's lives, people's freedoms, people's fundamental rights being abused by government, people being incarcerated without trial for 7 days. That is not proper. These are the reasons why President Museveni went to Bush to fight against Obote. And he was very successful because people supported him. Now he is doing the same things. And the people are seeing and watching him. And you wait what will happen if he continues doing so. The moment President Museveni and his government lose the trust of Ugandans, then it will be finished.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 9. My guest this evening, Mr. Obed Katurebe. He comes from the Media Center, where he's the acting executive director, and Mr. Jude Mbabali, a lawyer who comes from the National Unity Platform Party. Our discussion, we are looking at the current political environment and what it means for this country as we prepare for the next general elections. Mr. Katurebe, we hear from Jude Mbabali here raising a very critical issue about how people are arrested. Well, what makes it hard for for the security personnel to act within the law, like Judy Mbabali says, approach somebody and say, I'm so and so, and I'm putting you under arrest because of this and this. You have a right to a lawyer. You have a right to notify your family member. That's what the law says. You're giving these people ammunition. From time to time, they say, our people are being abducted. Our people are being kidnapped, which is not a good record for your government.
No, I won't really want to go into the arresting procedures and stuff like that.
But at least you've had complaint about that.
Yes, because to me, security officers must follow the law when they are doing their exercises of arresting those they perceive to be having criminal agenda. There's no doubt about it.
Suspects.
But again, I've seen moments of, I don't know if it is a culture of, but anyway, it is culture of most Ugandans. Even if you went through what Council Mbabali has talked, and he brought to the police arrest warrant, and he said, I'm taking what, someone will say, I'm not going. And before you realize, it is a fracas in the middle of the road, pouring and whatever. No, Council Mbabali, I've seen moments when someone says, but he says, I'm not going anywhere. So the arresting circumstances and the nature of arrest and the circumstances why they choose to do that one, I leave it to them because I'm not one of them. I don't know which level of measuring in a way to execute the arrest. What informs them? Honestly, I'm not a security person. I don't know why they prefer to have it that way. Maybe would the person be dangerous to them, or might he harm them? That's why they come in numbers and then put you in a drone. I don't know what informs that one. And for security people, for some reason, they prefer to keep quiet on what informs their decision. So I wouldn't go much into the nature of the arrest. But what is comforting on my part is that these arrested people are produced to court.
Limping. We have seen some of them limping.
Well, I've seen them limping.
With wounds.
But I would also want to take you to some limping that is exaggerated, not by what? We have political actors who limped the whole 5 years. But when they heard that some other people are coming to challenge them, these people came running, and you wonder where they threw their clutches. Really? And you know who I'm meaning.
I have no idea.
No, the woman MP Kampala, let me be specific. For all the 5 years, she was limping, claiming the security broke her back and whatever. But when she had Madame Lirika wants her seat, you can see how strong she came running.
She was in Nairobi hospital the other day.
Yes, I don't know. I have no proof. But me, what I'm querying is how he threw the crutches of 5 years. But now when he hears there's some serious container for her seat, then she came running with no crutches.
Eddie Mutwe?
I would want to know if, really, between me and you, nobody has examined him. None of us is a doctor to say he has a broken leg and whatever. What if someone is trying to attract sympathy? But I don't want to be so mean and say he's acting. But we know people who have also used such scenarios to gain protocol value out of it.
All right. Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90. Let's go for a break now. When we return, we'll now look at the likely implication. What does this mean for the democratic space, the civic space, the engagement, the campaigns that are coming? Stay tuned to Radio 1 FM 90, but keep your comments coming via the WhatsApp line 0703 090 090. Thank you so much for staying with us on Spectrum, live on Radio 1 FM 90. Our topic of discussion today, we are looking at the political environment and the implications that are awaiting us as we prepare for the next general elections. My two guests this evening, Mr. Judy Mbabali, the lawyer and member of the National Unity Platform, former chairman, Masaka District, is running in Kimanya Kabonero. Is that the constituency where Honorable Abedi Bwanika is?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
And he's a Goni case.
You're sure that you're going to get the flag?
No, I'm telling you, it's a Goni case.
Because there's a contest for the flag also that is coming.
That is true.
And Mr. Obed Katurebe, he is the acting executive director at the Uganda Media Center. Now, Mr. Judy Mbabali, you've had the response from Mr. Katurebe, but also as you respond what he has actually said about some of the conduct of the politicians and how they behave, probably leading to the attention of the security. We'd like to hear from you as your NUP. What do you think would be the implications of this kind of situation that we are dealing with, and what do you think needs to change for us to have a peaceful, non-violent election process, similar to what we had last time? Around this time in 2010, we were already counting some people who had been, killed because of election-related violence.
Yeah, thank you. One, I don't want to deeply to go into this issue of politicians pretending and what have you, that they are sick. But what I know, Shami Marende is my good friend. I know, and I'm sure she's been sick and she has been undergoing treatment in a serious and well-known hospital in Nairobi. And as we talk now, she's still sickly. You can even, when you look at her face, it used not to be like that, but she's recovering steadily, and we pray for her. So, sir, don't say that again, because next time we will be under the same problems and people will say you are pretending, yet you are seriously sick. I'm warning you, because any time the government may change. And now let me go to that serious issue of the implications of what is going on now. First of all, I've already said that many Ugandans, slowly by slowly, are losing confidence in this government. And once a government loses confidence of the people, the next thing is to fall. It will be voted out. Two, many Ugandans have lost confidence in the Electoral Commission and the electoral process. And you know the repercussions of people losing confidence in those who organize an election and the whole process of elections. So we are seriously taking a dangerous trend, and we need prayers, because it seems President Museveni and his group are not bothered. For them, they are continuing with what they want to do that favors them, but we are taking a dangerous trend that will ruin this country very soon. Three, when impunity comes in, it promotes corruption, it promotes abuse of human rights. You can see many police officers are now abusing human rights of Ugandans. I've just given you the scenario of Masaka, where a mayor of a city goes and complains about an illegality in the electoral process. And the RDC sits down and declares and orders police to arrest her. And the mistake he made, that RCC of Masaka, he said, I am ordering you policemen to immediately arrest Honorable Namayanja, the mayor of Masaka, because of disturbing the electoral process. But after arresting her, please investigate. Do you understand what I'm talking about? You have ordered the arrest, and then you are now telling the police to investigate. Yet you are supposed to do investigation, and then police decides whether to arrest or not. Not the RCC. The RCC has no powers to order an arrest.
The RCC is the chairperson of a security committee.
Exactly.
In a district, in a city.
I was a member of the security committee, so I know what goes on there, and I know what the law says. That committee is supposed to sit, and the DPC is the one who is supposed to order any arrest, not the RDC. The RDC just chairs, so that the process of finding out issues about security is a smooth one, because there must be a chairman. And then after that, the committee advises the DPC to either carry out an investigation, and if there is evidence, then an arrest is effected in a proper way.
Why did the RDC order the arrest of the mayor?
The mayor, you have not followed the story. The mayor was called in at the process where they are vetting, where they are nominating in Masaka. This current nomination is going on. So she went there and she found one of the officers of government with a list and telephone numbers of the candidates of NUP. So the mayor was asking, why are you collecting? The man was seriously collecting the telephone numbers. So she asked, and politely, so why are you collecting the number, the telephone numbers of our candidates for councillor? Then I think the officer didn't want to respond, and eventually the RDC deemed that as a breach.
Are you suggesting that in your phone book there, you do not have any contact of an NRM person?
But you see, rampant arrests are going on. Okay. So why is this suspicious man, who is not even connected to elections, why is he there? And why is he collecting those telephone numbers? So the mayor suspected that maybe has a sinister motive. And she asked, but the RCC ordered the arrest. So such breaches, such abuse of power is very bad, and it affects NRM and the electoral process. So those are some of the implications. Of course, the other is that we are going to get political instability, which is not good. President Museveni went to the bush and was fighting against political instability, because under Obote's regime, the country wasn't stable. Business could not go on as usual. People were worried. So he went to the bush and fought and said, I have fought to restore stability. Uganda is going to become peaceful again. But you see where we are. We are going back to the same thing.
All right. Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90. Now, let's hear from you, Mr. Obed. Mr. Obed, what would be your response, having heard from Mr. Mbabali, who thinks the situation may not be very good going into the election process? Give us some confidence.
No. You know, the 2021 elections were difficult elections. They were held under difficult circumstances. Remember, we had COVID-19, countries hadn't, the whole world was still locked. So it called for, the government had put in regulations on how people to interact. So they were supposed to be scientific. But of course, the opposition chose to say, no, we will not go by those scientific arrangements we're talking about. So there was a defiance of standard operating procedures. And the government also felt, no, we must stem the line in these people who think they can break the law and go out with it. So there was that conflict created by the health situation at that time. Now we don't have a lockdown. It is free time. The Electoral Commission will design the roadmap, and people will carry out the electioneering as it is expected. I find trouble with my colleague here faltering the Electoral Commission, which is quite often by the members of the opposition. I think they want to put them on the wall, sort of. Put them on the wall. Yet, in the heart of hearts, they believe the Electoral Commission will give them a credible outcome. And like I said in my first submission, that's why my colleague here is going to stand in Kabonera.
Kabanya.
Kabonera. Because he knows the Electoral Commission will carry out a credible process that will give whoever the results that each participant deserves. He's talking about the issues in Masaka, about the mayor and then the RDC. Really, I wouldn't want to go very far into that one because I don't know
the specifics
of that one. But the beauty of it is that she's not arrested. Secondly, the RDC can say arrest, but these policemen will not just arrest because the RDC has said so. Whichever police person must discuss the situation with their bosses, and their boss, it is only the DPC who will cause the arrest. But the fact that she's not arrested by now, that means that one was just it was scaring, scarecrow statements. But now, I would want to know, because where the Madam Mayor was, it was an electoral commission zone territory. So the chief of the whole process was not the DPC or that friend who was recording numbers. It was the electoral commission people. And I was listening to the spokesperson, Julius Mchuzi, some time back about people who complained in some places the way electoral commission carried out. NUP was saying most of their people
were blocked.
And that is true.
But also having witnessed live on NTV in some places. I remember in Mbendi, someone comes and said, this is, I'm the one carrying the flag. Another one also comes, I'm the one carrying the flag, probably someone who has also just printed some paper from Nasa Road. So it was confusing. They had to say, you know what, we still have some days, you people. Let us first talk to your party, and they confirm who of you two has the flag. There's been that madness. Mix up. But they were so good saying, look, we have some days, but let's not rush because we are confusing us. And Mchungu said, look, if you feel there was a malpractice,
any problem,
you have a right to appeal to the Electoral Commission, and they will investigate and create a remedy. It's not that because you came and you weren't nominated, that's over, done and dusted. You come for a redress, and then you will be helped. But before I get off, this, I don't remember any commission since maybe 90s that has never been condemned by the members of opposition. You remember Kabwai, then Chugund, I think that one was the most demonized under the sun. Then now Biabakama, who will you ever accept and say this one is really...
But remember also Museveni went to the bush after complaining about an electoral commission.
Managed by Mwanga, who was
no, there was an electoral commission. Mwanga just hijacked.
So I do believe this electoral commission, the reason people are registering to go independent, be they NRM or even NUP or even the other parties. This mad rush of people going independent after losing their primaries is because they know the Electoral Commission is credible and will give them a credible result.
Than what has happened in their political parties.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go now to the listener and listen to some of the comments that are coming in from those people to tell us exactly what they think about this discussion. Good evening, Radio 1. To me, it's useless to organize elections because NRM is preparing security to kill people every 5 years. That's what this person claims. What the security are doing with these abductions and violent arrests are making Uganda look like a white, beautiful grave from outside, but inside are rotten human remains. The U.S. President Thomas Jefferson said, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there is liberty. Mr. Obed, why not arrest Bobby Wine also? Why do they go for small fish only? That's a comment from Emma in Nambole. Good evening. Ask Mr. Obed how many NRM people are in custody like ours in Noob, but God is watching them. That is Opio listening in from Kumi. Another comment. Good evening, Spectrum. Okama Emmanuel writes in and says, based on the government we are in now, these arrests, based on the government we are in now, these arrests, especially on opposition members, is always a command from the chief in command. I understand why the number in that government will support such arrests, but what I know, there is no law. Those people are breaking based on how they are abducted. But until the termites reach your garden, will you know that they are destructive, and you will join the fight to eliminate them? We have another comment. Obed, Mr. Obed, is Namere arrested or not? Where is full figure? That's Okelo in Mukono. Well, this is another comment. I think it's for another particular discussion. The mayor, I think also this is a comment for another previous discussion. So, Mr. Obed, let's begin with you on these comments that have come in. If you can respond very quickly as we wait for more to come in.
Well, why someone is saying, why not arrest Bobi Wine? My thinking is that he has not committed any crime to warrant his arrest. Arrest him for what? These some of those arrested in these are other people, the group that was arrested because of beating up journalists in some function in the massacre and stuff like that.
The bodyguards.
The bodyguards. So even if they are his bodyguards, those who committed that mistake of punching journalists and breaking their cameras were not him, it was his bodyguard.
But if you're arresting NUP people who took part in what you're calling drilling, and then you should also arrest Bobi Wine because he inspected the guard of honor.
Well, like I said...
does it mean he is not part of the people who committed an offense contrary to the Penal Code Act?
No, like I said, we are not so deep into the intelligence organs and what they found out and what informed why they arrested so and so and left out so and so. Maybe they have their reasons why they have not, and why they chose to take those they chose. So it is about those security organs and what they analyzed and what they reached at.
But in your view as a person, if you have arrested people who made a parade and there was somebody who inspected it, would you arrest only those who made the parade, or you would also arrest the one who inspected it?
No, I would arrest whoever orchestrated such. And I don't think maybe it could necessarily be Bobi Wine. But whoever informed that kind of what psyching up those young people, training them, giving those skills that largely were meant to radicalize them, that's the one I would go. Not necessarily someone who came to
At what point do you conclude that that training was radicalizing them?
No, it is basic knowledge and basic what. If you telling them you are the foot soldiers and you've given those what, before you arrive, they'd just be feeling as if they are now the real combatants. And these are small young brains that are not as sophisticated as yourself. Once they are psyched in that formations and stuff like that, you don't know what they can do. So proactive actions to rein on people who can become a dangerous society, I don't find any problem with them as long as they are only punished and restrained from what they are doing. I don't have any problem with that one. So someone was asking, where is Full Figure? I think Full Figure is at her home and recovering from that brutal attack. It was bad. No sane person would cheer what the assailants did. That's mob justice. But again, she should also learn how to tame her language. It's not civilized language. It's not as how people who live with each other must behave by slowing words of those magnitude.
Let's leave issues of Full Figure to another group of discussion. So overall speaking, Obed, as we come to the end of this discussion, we'll want to hear from you your closing remarks.
My closing remark, unlike what some people are saying, and and his group are trying to create fear among Ugandans. The election will be peaceful. People should be mobilized to go and participate in this election, vote candidates of their choice. The talk of saying this is going to be violence, this will be hard, is not right. Because, like I said in my last submission, the 2021, we know why it was like that one. I've already explained that one. But there is no reason why people should not be free to participate. But again, as the media, we should not fall for these political actors' statements, and we give them headline, especially when they are inciting. Let us remain impartial, put across a message that give Ugandans confidence, that guarantee them that everything will be okay. Otherwise, any talk or rhetoric that portrays the coming election as doom, you dooming our economy. Investors will run, people will run out of this country because of the assumption that their businesses will be rooted or they are going to die. I think it's not the correct message. Let's give our people confidence, because there is no reason why this election period should be violent. For what? Government knew that after 5 years there will be elections. It even put money. It has given the Electoral Commission a lot of money. Why give the Electoral Commission a lot of money? To have biometric machines. Biometric machines are supposed to allay any practices that tend to discredit our electoral process. So there is no way government can commit such amount of money to a process that they are going to disrupt. In fact, they are committing a lot of money so that the process is credible, clear, and peaceful. Because once it is credible and clear, there won't be violence at all. Whoever rules will know I've lost because I didn't do my work well.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Mbabali. Mr. Mbabali, quick response to some of the comments that came in from the listeners, but also your closing remarks, because we're coming to the end of this discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. One, advice to police. The law is very clear. The law says if somebody has a place of abode, is a responsible person in society, is a leader of a political party, don't abduct, don't arrest someone, so that he comes over and he gets interrogated. That's what is supposed to be done. So that's my advice to IGP and the police officers. And don't involve army men, because for them, they don't know the law. The training of police officers and army men is different. Two, it is ridiculous for my colleague to compare Mufumbiro and Full Figure. These two people are totally different people in terms of character. Mufumbiro is a lawyer. He's a spokesman of a party that is the leading opposition party in Uganda. He's also a former spokesman of the Democratic Party. Duly elected by both parties to become spokesman. So he's a very serious person, and you can't compare the two.
Full Figure is a presidential candidate, presidential advisor.
But you have seen even him is condemning her. Actually, I think he has done so several times in his submission. Lastly, my colleague says that these these Eddie Mutwez were arrested because they beat journalists. And that is the complaint that was filed. They didn't beat, but it is the complaint that was filed by the complainants, the journalists. However, when it came to charging, they were charged of a serious offense, aggravated robbery. They changed the facts, they twisted them, and charged them. And do you know why they do that? It's because they want them to be tried by the High Court, so that they are denied bail on the ground that they committed a serious offense. And that's abuse of power. That's abuse of power that should not be encouraged. Please, government of Uganda, don't encourage that. Once you encourage that, people lose confidence in the judicial system and will not be able to control them. That's my advice. Thank you very much.
All right. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for actually making time to be here to have this discussion. And I hope during the days to come, we'll still have you here also to share with us more, because the political environment is just continuing to evolve as we move into the most tense part. Thank you so much for making time to be here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I want also to thank the listeners who stayed with us, contributed to this discussion, and their discussion actually helped us to shape the discussion here online. And we want to say thank you so much for your comments. Tomorrow, same time, Spectrum will be on air to discuss another topical issue. But from me and the team, we wish you a good night, but stay tuned to Radio 1 FM 90 because the news in English is coming up next. Thereafter, we'll have the Soul Train with BB Jr.